It sounds like, man, maybe that didn't really happen, but when Boldy says it, it does sound like it might have actually happened to him.
Go subscribe, yeah, subscribe.
I'm getting too wild off these Alchemist beats. I literally just sprayed beer all over my new laptop as soon as I opened this after listening to this album. While I'm talking about that, Al, what are you doing? You're giving us too much. We're spoiled. We don't need this. You didn't need this. You had already secured your spot as the top producer for the second consecutive year and a hell of a run over the past several years. You did not need to put this exclamation point on the game to get that title again. But just in case anybody had any doubt who the Alchemist is and what he's done this year and what he put down in 2021, then he decided to put this exclamation point on it. There's no doubt he's producer of the year after this. You gotta give it to him. I want to hear your arguments. If anybody else has any arguments about Alchemist being the top producer of 2021, let me know in the comments, because I just don't think it's possible. But for good measure, he came through with one of his top collaborators of late. In fact, I think he has more full lengths with Boldy, this being their fourth, than he has with anybody else. And they do sound so good together. Alchemist trademark dark beats and Boldy's laid back drug tales flow. But their best was definitely the predecessor to this, Bo Jackson. It will also be on my top 10 of the year video, which is coming really soon. I'm not going to tell you where it's at. In fact, I don't even know yet, but I know that it will make an appearance on that list. And this one's called Super Tecmo Bo. Let me explain for the younger generations what's going on with this cover here. That is an original Nintendo Entertainment System cartridge, and Tecmo Bo was the best football games that had ever come out. I played the shit out of that game. Tecmo Bowl and then Super Tecmo Bowl, the sequel. And I had to look back because I vaguely remembered a Bo Jackson game, and I was like, was Bo Jackson actually involved with Tecmo Bowl? I don't think they did football stars on the cover back then like they do with Madden now. And I looked it up, and there was a Bo Jackson baseball. I actually remember that one. That was a good game too, but not as good as Tecmo Bowl or Super Tecmo Bowl. Those are classics. This album kicks off with level tipping scales. So apparently they put out a vinyl of the original album, Bo Jackson, which was like a deluxe version, expanded edition, they called it. And the first 4 tracks on this project were actually on that expanded edition, although most of us haven't heard it because it was only released on vinyl, which I see are running for about $2.30 a piece right now. And on this track, we get dizzying sounds from Alchemist and organ chords coming through, while Boldy comes in with his laid back flow, a flow that I'm appreciating more and more because it is so perfect for these dark beats, especially with the subject matter that he kicks. No Laughing Matter is the next track. This is more upbeat and triumphant sounding production. And like the first track, it's another short song consisting of only one verse. There's a lot of that on this project. But Boldy spits story-like bars again about the drug game. And I think that his story game is on point with this project, maybe even more than it was with the original. And on this, he's mostly talking about what it was like to take out his ops. And this track is a good example of something Boldy does very well as an artist. These conversational stories that feel like he's sitting in the same room with you, recounting them, but they're in rhyme form. That's a special talent and something that you don't necessarily get from a lot of other artists, especially when he starts saying things that might sound like cap, like the barrel of a gun melting because it got so hot from shooting so much. It sounds like, man, maybe that didn't really happen, but when Boldy says it, it does sound like it might have actually happened to him. Hot Water Tank featuring ICECOLDBISHOP. I actually thought on my first casual listen that this was Danny Brown on this, but on closer inspection, a closer listen, it doesn't sound that much like Danny. But I think what it was is, first of all, the high voice, of course, but the high energy of Danny Brown was really showing through on ICECOLDBISHOP's verse. And I like how his voice is pretty much the opposite of Boldy's. You couldn't get much different than Boldy's flow and voice than ICECOLDBISHOP comes through with here. And that makes a really stark contrast on this particular track. Boldy, again, with the stories, almost reminded me of Freddie Gibbs, the way he holds the reveal of what the title means for the very end of the track. Boldy says, "Trap hard or go home. Had to use his shoebox for a bank. Fiend on his way to the scrap yard, he just stole another hot water tank." Bumps and Bruises. This is a standout track. So many different styles from Alchemist. Are y'all hearing that? How different each beat is? He's got the keys on one, he's got the saxophones on another, but whatever instrument he's using as the backdrop or whatever style he's doing, he's coming with the heat. This feels a little jazzy with that saxophone, and Boldy coming through with the lyrics is a one-man urban dictionary with the slang he pops off in the two verses on this. And I think he needs to verify this on Genius because I'm not even picking up the meaning of most of the words that he's dropping. Made it jump, 137, pop whipping doozies, mobbing with the Goonies. Murky weather, block did me gloomy, chopsticks and Uzis. Dirty Dianas and bananas on them 47s. Plugged in with Ricky Ricardo, so we locked in with Lucy. Well, I'm just picking up what he means on a few of those words. One line on verse 2 really comes through loud and clear with the meaning, and I love this. He says, "Don't be scared to be last to shoot, just don't be first to miss." That's hard. And I'm gonna drink to this track. I am sipping on a local OK Pills from Anthem Brewery in Oklahoma City. That's a 5.5% Pilsner, and I picked the pills today because Boldy's got so many stories on this about pills, a little bit of a different style. This is the kind that I prefer, but Boldy's doing his thing. Let's get back into the album. Great Adventures. He showed off the saxophone, he showed off the keys. Now Alchemist is showing off his bass line skills. Boldy, at the end of another story on his one verse on this track, lets us know of his and Al's position in the rap game. He says, 3 seconds left, inbound pass with Scottie Pippen. We got the game tied up. Ali, stop tripping. One of them is Pippen, so that makes the other one Jordan. I don't know who's who. I think Boldy really might be like Jordan, and Alchemist is like Phil Jackson, but still, the metaphor comes through, and it makes both of them champions. Moth in the flame. This beat is crazy. This may be the darkest, most intricate Alchemist beat on the project, and the beat inspired Boldy too. You can hear it in his flow. He shifts his cadence into that more staccato bounce that he can go into when he's really in the zone. And with that flow on this beat, this is another highlight track as Boldy proclaims that he's true to the game and at least top 3 of the realest, if not the best. 300 Fences. When I talk about the casual storytelling that's all over this project, this is the most straightforward story. Boldy's building suspense as he picks up his son, has him in the car. You know, he's got drugs in his car, going to the house where he's been fighting with his girl, and you're feeling like something's about to explode, something's about to happen, and real storytellers can build that kind of suspense, and it all develops into the cops out there looking for him while he's hiding in a field of tall grass. Gotta respect respect Boldy's storytelling game here. Although the beat is a little weak, and I hate to say that, but it is weak by Alchemist standards. Francois, great beat here. We get one of those echoey, obscured vocal samples that Alchemist does so well. Really the first one on this project, I think. And Boldy's on here talking about how most rappers are fake and their tales of getting riches in the drug game before rap are mostly cap. And he may be a little too real, maybe revealing a little bit too much, not wanting to reveal some of the details of his supposed crimes that he committed before the rap game. He says, getting my people out the streets, all I was trying to do. Ain't no indictments or no links that they could tie me to. Can't put myself on the scene or actual situations. When it comes to murder, ain't no statute of limitations. This is a great, quick listen from one of the best duos of the last couple years. This feels more like a gift to the fans than a full-fledged project. In fact, some of these songs were actually B-sides on the vinyl, and a lot of them do feel like B-sides because we just get one verse, sometimes not really fleshed out choruses, but the beats and the flows and the storytelling is enough to continue to hold it down. And in the end, it doesn't seem like the point of this was really to make a sequel to the great album that dropped earlier this year. So I think with the incredible beats and the unique style of Boldy, they still can't miss. I'm giving this an 8 out of a 12 pack. Thank you for watching my review of Super Tecmo Bo. If you like this, go ahead and hit like now and hit me up in the comments. If you didn't like it, also let me know why in the comments. I drop hip-hop and hops related content consistently, so subscribe to my channel now. And until I see you next time, keep buzzing.
The man says subscribe. But if he's on his channel saying that somebody's album is better than mine, unsubscribe to that motherfucker.
No, your album's the best, man.
There you go. Subscribe.
Yeah.
Subscribe.